After a unique doubleheader format last time out for the Turbo Truck Series at Vancouver, we are back to the normal grind for 90 laps today for the OneMain Financial 250 at the Indianapolis Raceway Park, just outside of Indianapolis. It's going to be a lot of fun for 90 laps around this .686 mile oval. We got 42 of the best truckers in the world ready to take on the race here today. Alongside me in the booth for this one is Duke and Zach as usual, and this presents a bit of a unique challenge. There is no real favored line here. Both lanes are workable at this place, but if you had to give an edge to one, I'd probably say the outside line is better, at least on the initial jump. So you want to get up there as soon as possible. My question is it going to be so easy for some big names starting at the back to make their way to the front?
Hey, on a racetrack with two grooves, it's always going to be easier to pass than if you've got a track with only one lane around the bottom or around the top or whatever it may be. So I do expect quite a lot of passing today. I think that there is a good chance for some of these guys who are starting in the back to really make a big move up to the front, but we'll never know. We've got a lot of guys up front as well that are starting with a good opportunity, and that have really good track position, and we know how much track position matters in this series week to week. So, well, we'll see how it goes, but yeah, it's gonna be quite the race with multiple grooves of racing. That's something that excites me every single time.
And looking at the starting lineup now for this 90-lap race, we have a lot of superstar drivers and a lot of Nitro National drivers in the field for this one. It's a companion week with the other series, so a lot of them are entered. And you look no further than pole position to find that out, because Superstar Series regular Miles Mashburn takes pole position by 9 1/1000ths of a second over Truck Series regular Allison Rain. They form up the front row. Austin Runkle and Noah Hart, two rookies in the Truck Series, make up row 2, and then Ben McDonnell, another superstar driver, fills out the rest of the top 5. But I'm keeping an eye on the D4 Motorsports team as a whole. You got Mashburn on pole and the other two trucks lined up 6th and 7th. This could be a good day for them if they can stay up front the whole way.
Absolutely. We've seen some good outings in the recent couple of races from that team, and I really do think that they might have found something in those trucks to really give them a little bit of an edge. So we'll see how they do today. I think it's going to be a great race, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I think that there's a lot of potential in this whole field, and we could see a winner from just about anywhere in this race. 90 laps is a long time, so it's gonna be a real good one. Multi-groove. Oh, I'm excited.
So with that being said, we got 42 of the nation's finest lined up on the grid, and we're ready to bring you 90 laps of action from the Indianapolis Raceway Park. This is the One-Up Turbo Truck Series from IRP. The green flag is next. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss a second of the action still to come. With Miles Mashburn on the inside lane, Allison Rain on the outside, Runkle, Hart, McDonnell in the top 5. The green flag is out, and the OneMain Financial 250 is underway at IRP, and they're pretty even going into the first corner. And notice how they avoid that very bottom groove. That's going to be something you're going to see all night long. Is you want the middle and the top is what's going to really shine here tonight, as Mashburn looks like he's going to have the advantage going in the 3.
Yeah, he was able to get a good run right there on the bottom lane. It looks like he's going to be clear going onto the front straightaway and possibly leading lap 1 right here. Allison Rain is going to be clear for second place, and then behind that is side by side all the way back. But yeah, this is going to be a fascinating race. It looks like Miles Mashburn is really starting to pull away coming down the backstretch here on lap 2.
Superstar experience, that's always a positive when you come down for a truck race, and Mashburn's making the most of it here in his starts for D4 as the caution flag is out already on lap 2. I'm curious to see where this started. Oh, we got a lot of trucks in this one. We got Keon Daly making his Truck Series debut, and he's a Nitro National driver. Wes Kitchens also making his Truck Series debut here. Robert Weaver, Knox Hanley, Kev Shearer, a lot of guys involved in this caution on just the second lap of the race. It's a bit early for this, but it just shows you the action heats up right away here.
Yeah, that's right. There's just not a lot of space on this track for these truckers, so we'll have to see what happened, but I have a feeling it's going to be something along the lines of people couple of trucks going into one spot that maybe they just didn't fit in. So we'll have to see what happens once we get the replay soon. As soon as these pit stops, maybe we're looking at some pit stops here.
Nick Ortiz, he doesn't look like he was involved in the accident, but regardless, his day is over already on just the 4th lap with engine failure for the 91. That's unfortunate for Ortiz, making just his 3rd start of the season. It looks like, I see where this starts. It looks like they're 3 wide up at the front, and then Chastain gets into James Ellison, and then it just dominoes from here, because everybody's going for the same piece of real estate, like you were saying, and not everybody made it through, and it looks like these 5 are in a bit of rough shape, but they're all going to be able to continue. Just an unfortunate situation when you got so many cars going for such little real estate on the racetrack. Yeah, so this is where it begins. Chastain, Ellison, and Knox Hanley, all 3 wide, and that just doesn't work here. As you can see, this is a home race for Ellison and Crossroads Racing, so a bit unfortunate for them to be involved in this. You see Christian Russell in the 50 truck this week getting a little piece of this as well. But yeah, just an unfortunate situation for everybody involved. But if you're going to have an issue, at least let it happen early so you can get all the trouble out of the way soon, and you can get back to the rest of your race. As of right now, however, we're still cycling our first caution in the race on lap number 6. Miles Mashburn has led every lap so far, and only Nick Ortiz has retired from the race so far.
Yeah, so they were all in each other's blind spots right there, and they were on the far side of the track, so the spotters don't have the greatest view of that situation, and they all kind of just moved up into each other right there, and that's how it goes. You know, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield, and those guys were the bugs in that situation. So, hey, they'll all continue. They'll make it and make some repairs and see if they can't get back in this race that we've got right now. So we'll see now if Miles Mashburn is able to pull away once again after the single file restart against Allison Rain in 2nd place. We'll have to see if maybe Allison Rain, not having anybody to contend with on the bottom for the first lap or so, will make it so she's able to be up there and challenge Miles Mashburn for the lead.
The lights are out on the pace track. That means we're going green next time they cross the line. And it is Miles Mashburn leading the 34 of Allison Rain. Austin Runkle and Noah Hart stay where they started this race, 3rd and 4th. Logan Jones made up a spot. He's up to 5th now. Got around Ben McDonald for that spot. Earl Sear got around Ryan Soper for 7th. Jonathan Lawson made up a few spots to obtain 9th. And Audrey Anzac rounds out the top 10. Pace truck's off. We're getting ready to restart.
We absolutely are, and I think that this is going to be interesting to see if anybody makes a big dive down into turn 1. It might be possible here, depending on how good a start Miles Mashburn gets. Here they come. Restart is engaged.
Green flag back in the air at IRP. Look up at Austin Runkle's the first one to make a move down to the bottom. He caught Allison Rain napping a little bit, as did Logan Jones on Noah Hart. They're going to be side by side down the back straightaway, 94 and 09, as it looks like Audrey is also making a move on Lawson for 9th. There's a lot of racing still to come. We still have over 80 laps of this race to run, but so far, Miles Mashburn's got a jump on the field, as you see again Runkle make a dive on Rain.
Yeah, I think that 18 truck is a little bit faster than the 34 right now. Just getting off the corners better and getting down the straightaways better, but not able to do anything on corner entry quite yet. But you're absolutely right. I think that Allison Rain was napping a little bit on that start there, and didn't really go with the leader at the start, and then didn't get into turn 1 very well either. So that's going to hurt her in the long run here, as we see Miles Mashburn driving away, and now they're side by side right here. That's Earl Sear and Ben McDonald racing for position on this racetrack, and this is a perfect example of being able to see that both the very top lane and the middle lane, which I guess we'll start calling the bottom, are able to be used. And we've got a situation in the pit lane.
We do. We have Knox Hanley. He had some damage in that previous caution. He's pitted for repairs, as has Kev Shearer. They will fall multiple laps down in this race, unfortunately for them, but they'll be able to continue on, hope for some more carnage later to be able to boost them up the running order. But for now, Miles Mashburn leads the way. He's got a second lead over Allison Rain. Austin Runkle hot on her heels. We're on lap 12 now. Mashburn's led them all. And this could be a good day for D4 Motorsports. They still got all 3 cars in the top 7.
Yeah, I'd say so. This truck looks really, really good right now. Just driving away from everybody. I mean, nobody can do anything even after the start and the restart. Nobody's touching that 74 truck right now. So definitely without any issues in this race, without any mistakes, without any problems in the pit lane, without too many more cautions on track, this 74 truck is looking really good.
Coming off of turn 4 to complete lap number 13, Mashburn holds the lead, and it's stabilized at about a second over Ellison Rain. Now 6.5 seconds separate the entire top 10. As we now look back on this battle, which is starting to heat up between Noah Hart, Logan Jones, and Ben McDonald. They're all racing for the 4th spot. Hart and McDonald look like they're drafting you don't really draft too much at a short track like this, but they're helping each other in the high lane nonetheless. And Logan Jones just trying to find a way around. This was his best qualifying effort of his career, and he's looking to capitalize on it, currently in the 6th position.
Yeah, this place being just a little bit more than a half mile, it feels like the longest short track around. It's just long corners, long straightaways, and that's what makes the outside lane so good, because you're able to carry a lot of speed around this racetrack on the outside lane. You just kind of stay in that throttle all the way through, and then really power up off the corner. So it's going to be an interesting game to see at least what happens with these tires once they start to wear down, because the tires, after so long, once they wear down, the grip goes away, and we're gonna have to see which lane becomes preferred at that point. Usually the groove moves up a little bit because you have a little bit more room to work with. However, if they're already up pretty high, we might not see much of that, and we got a little bit of D4 Motorsports racing action side by side right here for position.
Teammates going for the 6th position. Jones holds them off for the time being, and I think I just saw the flag stand wave the yellow for our second yellow flag of the day. Yes, there is. For the second time today, Mashburn continues to lead. It looks like this one involves Brian Grigsby in the 92 for Fingai Saitomi Motorsports. After having such a strong run at Vancouver last time out, this was surely an unfortunate situation for Grigsby, but he will remain on the lead lap as well. And now it'll be interesting to see what the strategy is from here on out, because I have a feeling we might see at least some of the front runners come in for pit stops. Probably not all of them, but at least a few. As now we look to see what happened to Brian Grigsby here. Once again, it looks like 3 wide gone wrong, as Aiden Smith comes up into Grigsby, into Henry Brown. Levi Thorley with a big shot into the front, and Francois Chastain taking evasive action down there. It's a series of 360s for Brian Grigsby, but doesn't look like damage is too significant. He'll be able to continue on regardless. Just an unfortunate situation, again, where too many trucks going for the same spot on the racetrack, and 3 into 1 just does not go.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. And it was just it wasn't the type of situation where anybody was really at fault or anything like that. It was just a racing accident there. And hey, everybody drives away, is going to continue in this race. However, we'll have to see what kind of pit stops people are making here. Have they already happened? Are we waiting on them? What's going on?
It looks like we've already cycled through, and it doesn't look like many people came in. Maybe Levi Forley with some repair work to go on, but we're going to see a lot of pit stops in this race, because this is a pretty abrasive surface. The tires wear out a lot here, and you want to have fresh ones if and whenever possible. But at the same time, you also want that nice track position. So it's a fine balance here to get fresh tires when you can and maintain track position when you're able. It's just going to be a very interesting balancing act for the rest of this race, especially for guys like Mashburn and McDonald in the top 5 who don't care about points. They're just here to win races, so it'd be very interesting to see what their strategy is.
Yeah, and after 20 laps in this race, we're sitting here under caution, and you've got the opportunity to pit. All these crew chiefs have that same opportunity. It just shows that all these crew chiefs who are with trucks running up front right here feel like track position matters more than tires at this point in the race. So it's that's that. And we'll see how it plays out. Of course, right here, it's not going to make much of a difference at all because there are so few trucks that pitted. They're going to be very far back. It would have been interesting to see maybe if some guys outside of the top 10, maybe 12th on back, if they had all pitted, that would have been interesting for me to see how much faster those new tires actually are. So maybe if we get another caution in the coming laps, maybe around lap 30 or something else, we'll have a little bit of a
looks like we got some. Actually, it does look like we have some takers now. Jonathan Lawson in the 20. I think pit road just opened, actually.
Oh, interesting.
So, it looks like Jonathan Lawson, Billy Kidd came in, not Kev Shearer, Maston Rimmel, the few others, Robert Weaver, Sam Houston, a few others as well. They all came to pit road, and they better get a hurry up going on now, because we're going to restart this race in a lap's time, as Kev Shearer comes up to join the field at the front because he is the first truck a lap down. Knox Hanley will also make his way up there.
All right, well, a couple things to note here. I don't know if those guys are going to have enough time to catch up to this field, and if they do, there aren't enough of them to really make a huge difference coming up through the field. And we've got 2 lap trucks on the bottom lane, so that's going to be interesting to see what happens on this restart for Miles Mashburn and Allison Rain starting in first and second. Maybe that 18 truck is going to be able to get up there, make some moves with these lappers involved. We'll have to see how it goes. This could be a big mix-up. We're coming to the green flag.
And as we come to the restart, which comes on lap 24, we can also announce that 2 more drivers have retired from this race as a result of lingering damage from earlier incidents. Christian Russell in the 50, his damage was too severe for him to continue, and Henry Brown as well. His car was significantly damaged to the point where he could not continue in this race, as Allison Rain put the bumper to the back of Kev Shearer, trying to get closer to the 74. This is going to be very interesting to see, because Mashburn, his lead is not as big as it was before, because he's got Allison Rain hot on his bumper right now.
No, not at all. Not the same lead as earlier in this race, and Miles Mashburn is now feeling the heat from Allison Rain. All of a sudden, in this race, that lap truck, in a way that I wasn't anticipating, has impacted the beginning of this race, and Allison Rain took off like she was shot out of a cannon on that restart. It's incredible, staying right with Miles Mashburn up until that point, where Miles Mashburn was able to pull away just a little bit, with Allison Rain feeling some pressure from behind. That lapper still impacting this thing up front.
Yeah, Kev Shearer is actually trying to get around Allison Rain to try and unlap himself. Remember, Shearer has fresher tires than the 2 leaders ahead of him, so he should be able to get the move on. Although I think he's going to get the call from the flag stand, or not from the flag stand, from his pit box, to get out of the way for his teammate Austin Runkle to join the battle for the lead, because the 18 is coming up on the O2 pretty quickly. As we come off turn 4 to complete lap 27, Mashburn leads Rain by about 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, so now we're back to how it was. We had a moment of excitement there up front. I think that if Allison Rain had passed for the lead, we might have seen something interesting, because we haven't seen that 74 truck back behind anybody today. So we don't know how it handles. They don't know how it handles. More importantly, but yeah, that would be interesting. However, it didn't happen like that, so we're still waiting to see. And now we've got a battle with Earl Sear on the outside.
Oh, we got very wide here. This isn't going to be... This doesn't look good. We're hoping we don't get a caution out of this. Oh, how did they save that? That is amazing. They go for 3 and 4. They're still 3 wide, though. That could present another problem later on in this race. They're coming off of 4. And there they go. Rogers gets into Aiden Smith, who gets into Brandon Mayhew, who gets into Alejandro Cisneros. The caution waves for the 3rd time in this race on lap 30, and you saw that one coming from a mile away.
Yeah, not enough room for 3 wide down the front straightaway here. Just everybody sliding up out of the corner. It makes it so difficult. I mean, because you're really not running that bottom lane, so you've got two lanes around the corners, and then you kind of move up out of the corners, and when you got 3 trucks in there, man, just not enough room.
So Aiden Smith brings out the caution once again, and it
Whoa.
looks like everybody's coming to pit road this time. Yes, we have the leaders on pit road for the first time all evening, as Mashburn leads the whole field on the pit road. Though I think we're gonna have a few stay on the racetrack here that pitted under the last caution. So for the first time all race, we're gonna have a new leader.
Interesting. Yeah, it looks like we got those 2 lap cars that they just stayed out, and we'll see how this goes here. I haven't seen anybody else who stayed out, but oh, there they all are. Wow, we're gonna get a few new leaders as well. What a great strategy call it was to pit on lap 20. So we're gonna have to find out here and see who has the fresher tires, who has the best truck at that point. And it looks like Miles Mashburn's not even going to win the race off of pit road.
No, he's not. Noah Hart, with a 2-tire pit stop, is going to lead him off pit road. Mashburn's second out of the pits, followed by Rain and Runkle. But how about Noah Hart? Bold 2-tire call this early in the race. Might as well try something if you're Noah Hart. He's going to restart at most in 7th place because of 6 trucks that stayed on the racetrack. Lawson, Austin Shane Fisher, Brett Bishop, the Vancouver winner earlier this season, and Maston Rimmel as well, Sam Houston, and, well, that's it. 5 trucks. Oh, and Robert Weaver's a lap truck, but he also stayed out. But, so once again, going through 3 and 4, it's 3 wide. Logan Jones actually has lost a lot of momentum. He was struggling for grip, and I think that's where it caught up to him, and they just sandwiched Zach Rogers, who gets into the 5. Aguos out does a great job slowing to avoid this. But, yeah, it just goes to show 3 wide at this track doesn't work, and yet these guys seem very eager to try it at every opportunity. So, take that information as you will, but you can see Zach Rogers back on pit road with some repair work, and it looks like that's about it. Tyler Mills getting some damage repair as well. And it looks like we're going to get to the restart pretty shortly here. Oh, and we've got one on pit road. It's the 74 of Miles Mashburn. He must have found something on that truck he didn't like. Maybe a lug nut wasn't secure. Maybe the fuel wasn't filled up all the way. Either way, Miles Mashburn has to make a second pit stop. That is going to send him right to the back of the field here for this coming restart.
Gosh, and such an amazing day he was putting together, and even after pitting and being a little bit farther behind everybody, still was looking really, really good. I was so curious to see what that truck was going to do in traffic, but now we're going to see what it can do in heavy traffic, starting all the way in the back of the pack. Man, oh man, that is an absolute stunner to this race, and it has blown it wide open for a lot of people to maybe have a shot to take the victory away. It's going to be interesting to see who is the one that rises to the top now that the favorite going through the first part of this race is out of it.
We got a few more on pit road at the 1-to-go signal. Audrey Anzac, Brandon Mayhew coming in the top off of fuel. And it looks like we're going to have Jonathan Lawson leading this race ahead of Austin Shane Fisher in the 31 for Crossroads Racing. Remember, this is a home race for Crossroads Racing, headquartered in Indiana. This is going to be a very good day for the 31 group if they can hang on. But we're coming to the restart, and it is Jonathan Lawson leading the way on lap 36.
Yeah, so once again, those lappers on the bottom lane might play spoiler in this restart, and the 21 has gotten free of those lap trucks, and now everybody else is having to deal with them. This is amazing for that 21 leading the way.
Yeah, his lead's going to be massive coming off of turn 4, as Weaver actually holds up Austin Shane Fisher, and the lead's already over a second now, with 1.2 seconds between Lawson and Fisher. But now Brett Bishop's trying to get around Kev Shearer, and Maston Rimmel's going to try and follow through. This is a bit of an upset for these guys. Brett Bishop, of course, he got that win at Vancouver, but that was purely a qualifying win. But Maston Rimmel, he's doing a pretty nice job. Sam Houston, he started right at the back of the field in this race. He's running 5th at the moment. This is an amazing run for those guys. But right now, no one's got a better view than Jonathan Lawson leading this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the biggest leads we've seen all day, which is incredible, from a truck that's on old tires right now. And we're having to see The 34 and the 18 are still 6th and 7th. Haven't made a ton of ground up, especially and in part due to those lappers that were stuck up in the it looks like Allison Rain right now is stuck behind 2 wide. We're watching it right now. Just sitting there on the outside lane waiting for something to happen. And the caution's out. There's your something. And it looks like it's for the 84.
And a few more. Noah Hart's involved in this one. He took 2 tires on that last stop. Ryan Griffin in the 29. He was the points leader going into this race. A lot has happened to those two, and they are going to have to now fight their way back through the field. Under this, our 4th caution of the night already. We're not even halfway yet. This is amazing. But a lot of ground to make up for Ryan Griffin, the points leader, Noah Hart, the gambler on 2 tires, and Ryan Soper just looking for a good day. As it looks like a lot of the field's going to come in here. I know one who's not, and that's Miles Mashburn, who's going to gain a lot of track position here. As most of the field hits pit road, it looks as though I think Billy Kidd's going to assume the lead of this race here in the 72. Oh. Yes, he will. So the 72 will be leading this race, as we're going to try and find out what happened to Noah Hart, Ryan Griffin, and the rest. Man, this is
busy pit road. A little bit of contact in the back there, man.
A little bit, you say? Yes, there's a lot of contact. Same story, 4th chapter. As Noah Hart is struggling on those 2 tires, he gets pinched off by Earl Sear. Jack Boswell spins around in the 38, and I guess just Ryan Griffin had nowhere to go. Jared Polanski gets a tag at us as well. A lot of unfortunate circumstances here. But that still doesn't explain why the 84 was so far back there. I hope we find out what happened to him as well. But that is what happens to Ryan Griffin and Noah Hart. Just a bunch of 3 wide. It was never going to work out, and these guys should know that by now. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a broadcaster now.
Yeah, I'd say that the spotters need to get up on the mic and let them know. Right now, they're going 3 wide out of the corner. You better back out, or else you're going to get wrecked out. We'll see. I don't know. But look, we've got Runkle up in the lead right now, ahead of the 72, and then Audrey Enzak in 3rd place after making that late pit stop.
Yeah, with Allison Rain 4th, because the D4 Motorsports pair have gone a lap down to Soper and Mashburn. That is just a tough break for these guys who are having such a strong run. Their hopes now rest squarely on Logan Jones's shoulders, but even he's back in 27th place. This is going to be a tough race for D4 Motorsports. It started out so well. Miles Mashburn did lead the opening 31 laps, but it's not where you start that matters. It's where you finish, and right now they're not doing too hot.
Absolutely. And this is going to be an interesting scenario because we know that those 2 trucks are fast. They were running in the top 10, one of them leading this thing for so long, and they're going to be starting on the inside lane in the front row effectively on a double file restart. So we'll see. They're going to fight hard to try to get that lap back, especially because there's been so many cautions. We know that there's a chance for more cautions in this one because nobody knows how to not go 3 wide coming out of the corners. So it's going to be fascinating to see what they do, and especially what Austin Runkle does in the lead of this race, starting on the outside lane. So we see those D4 trucks going to the bottom, and they're going to start right there, right next to the leader. So we'll see. It's going to be a fascinating restart, to say the least.
Got the 1 to go signal, and next time we cross the start-finish line, we'll be halfway home from the Indianapolis Raceway Park, if you can believe it. And look at all the lap traffic on the inside lane. You got Soper and Mashburn, you got Hanley and Tyler Mills making his Truck Series debut. You have Robert Weaver and Kev Shearer as well. There's a lot of lap traffic. We'll see if, say, Carson Jefferson in 7th can make the most of it. He's the first one on the track without a lap truck underneath him. And look, we got both the Crossroads Racing trucks in the top 10 now in their home race, as we're now back on their way at the halfway lap.
Wow, so that was a really good start from the 18 and the 72. Looks like both of them are going to have the opportunity to get clear of the 84, who started on the bottom. Maybe not for the 72. It's not going to be enough. Oh, man, so they're going to be side by side, and that's going to let Runkle get way out ahead in that 18 truck. Man, oh man, what a good start it ended up being for Austin Runkle, who's leading this race, and it's going to be by a big margin as well.
Absolutely, 9/10 of a second the gap. And now this is the battle for third between Audrey Anzac and Allison Rain. They're battling for third behind Billy Kidd and the two lap trucks of Mashburn and Soper. And they've got quite a ways back to the other battle for position because Knox Hanley and Tyler Mills are holding them up a little bit. But this is a nice battle between the 8 and the 34. Rain backs out of it a little bit. And now they've got Zachary Bilson for company in the 81.
Yeah, that could... Well, actually, the 34, it's really falling off the pace right now. I'm not actually sure what's going on there with Allison Rain falling way behind. But, yeah, we've got those two D4 trucks that are really starting to kind of get in their own groove here. And we'll see if they're able to drive up to Austin Runkle leading this race in the 18. But, yeah, he is driving away from the 72.
Yeah, Austin Runkle's got about a 1.5-second lead now over Billy Kidd, 2.5 over Audrey Anzac. So Runkle's got a very good advantage in this race. Question is, will they have the pit again in this race? Because we don't know how long a fuel run's going to last here at IRP. But right now, Runkle's making the most of it. He's got a big lead over Billy Kidd and a bigger lead over everybody else. As now they're starting to spread out a little bit. The top 10, and I just realized there's a name we didn't expect to see in the top 10 today. He's been involved in how many cautions in this race so far? But Aiden Smith is up in the top 10 now, up in the 10th position. So great job by that Ladion Autosport group. Well, now he falls out of the top 10 to Francois Chastain, who's also been in a few cautions today. So great work by both those guys, and I fully expect them to be in the next one the day is done.
Yeah, well, you know, when you have a lot of incidents on the track, I mean, it gives you a lot of opportunity to gain some position, gain back those spots, use some strategy calls, and it'll force you onto a different strategy, and sometimes that's what you need at the end of the day. You never know what strategy will prevail based on when the cautions fly. And, you know, we're talking about fuel, and we're talking about who can make it to the end. I don't think this is going to go green to the end. I mean, look what we've seen in this race already. I would be surprised if it goes green all the way, but we'll see how it goes. Right now, if it does, it looks like this 18 truck is in the catbird seat and maybe take home a win. But we'll see how it plays out.
He also holds the fastest lap by quite some margin over the rest of the field, 0.2 of a second faster than the second-place driver in that regard. So a bonus point for Austin Runkle. Can't go wrong with that. And if he does lead the rest of the way, he'll score max points in this race as well. So that's it. But that, of course, is if he can hold on. And we've seen how very much not... Well, we've seen how things shape up here at IRP.
Yeah.
So, and as you can see, Billy Kidd is actually chopping that lead away in a big way. It was over 1.4 seconds. Now it's down to 0.6 of a second. That 72 is going places.
Yeah, absolutely. That's. I mean, Billy Kidd must have found something or found a line or I don't know what, but he is on a rail right now. Just all of a sudden, he is catching up, and we've got ourselves a battle for the lead, and the caution is out. My goodness!
Well, that puts an end to that, and it looks like, and it's Ryan Soper that the caution's for, our 5th caution of the day, and this time it looks terminal for the 84, who had such a strong start to this race, started in the top 10, was running in the top 10 for much of this race, went a lap down, and now this wreck will end his day here on lap 55. Heartbreak for that D4 Motorsports team. It had such a strong start, but like I said, it's not where you start the day, it's where you finish it, and the 84 is going to finish it behind the wall. So it looks like he's just trying to stay out of the way, and this is not going to be a 3-wide incident. He just got hooked by Audrey there in the 8. Nowhere to go, really. Audrey was just trying to make the turn, and the 84 was there. I doubt he'll be a very happy camper after looking at the replay of that one. But what else is there to do? You don't really have much as far as where you can go. And that's a little contact between Soper and Austin Shane Fisher. But at the end of the day, that is the end of the day for Ryan Soper and the D4 Motorsports Group. And now they got to hope that Logan Jones can carry the team banner or that Miles Mashburn can get his lap back, because that 74 is quite fast.
Yeah, it's still very fast in this race, and yeah, you know, no explanation, no excuse for that. Just down into turn 1, nowhere to go. in the wall. It's a tough break for both drivers, especially Ryan Sober right there. So we'll see what happens in this one. The 74 now is going to be leading that lane on the bottom. So we'll see if Miles Mashburn is able to maybe jump ahead of Austin Runkle on the restart, gain that lap back. However, racing for the lead, Austin Runkle is definitely going to want to stay ahead of all the lap trucks that end up beneath him. So this is going to be another exciting restart to see what happens, because if the 74 does get ahead of the 18, what does that do for the racing for the lead? You know, they're all going to be racing in dirty air. It's going to be an even playing field, and we'll see whose truck is fastest just in a couple laps when we go green.
We had 2 of the top 10 pit under this caution flag. Allison Rain, who was running in 3rd, and James Ellison as well. They came to pit road. This should seat them to the end of the race, but giving up a lot of track position to do it. So bit of a gamble, but you know what? That's often what it takes. As it looks like Austin Runkle having a little bit of a problem. He's going to probably duck on the pit road, coming to 1 to go to the restart, as we've seen plenty of times before from these guys. But Austin Runkle from the lead hits pit road.
That's really interesting. A really interesting play right there. I don't know. I don't know what the fuel situation is for those guys up front right now, but it seems like with some of these people, some of these big players in the race pitting right here under this caution, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up staying out for the rest of this race, regardless of cautions or not. And then maybe coming back to the front. We'll see, though. We'll see how it plays out. It will be interesting to follow this story as we go farther into this race. However, he's not able to exit the pit lane yet. But yeah, this will be one fascinating finish if we can get these guys back up front later on older tires than everybody else. Regardless, we got a restart coming up, and it is Billy Kidd leading the way on the outside lane with the 74, Miles Mashburn, who's been one of the fastest trucks all day, a lap down, sitting right on the inside of him. They're coming to the green flag right now.
And keep in mind that Billy Kidd is driving a truck owned by Miles Mashburn, so there could be a little interesting cohesion going on here. As the green flag comes back out, we're underway once again at IRP. We got 30 laps to go, and Billy Kidd sets sail. And now I think what Miles Mashburn's going to do, now that he knows he's not going to get his lap back, he's going to play defense for this 72 truck to try and give him the win here.
Boy, that was an interesting start. I was expecting Billy Kidd to have Miles Mashburn come back on the lead lap right there. I was not expecting what has happened. And Billy Kidd and Miles Mashburn both have started pulling away from this 81, who's sitting 3rd on track, 2nd in the standings. So I don't know. This is gonna be interesting to see how this goes, because we know how fast all those guys are up front. Can they be caught by the 81?
Look at Riley Hooper in the 00. He's made his way up into the top 5. He started this race in the 30s. So a very good run from the 00. In fact, we got 3 of the 4 Robbers Racing trucks in the top 5. The other one is still in frame, Robert Weaver, who's a lap down. So a very good day overall for Robbers Racing, especially if they can get one of their guys in the victory lane by season's end, by this race's end, which is coming up in about 28 laps time.
Yeah, and we see that 8 truck as well just made a big move to the bottom, who was involved in that last caution. Pretty far behind these leaders, but the one on the lead lap that is ahead of all these other guys right here on the track. And man, oh man, what a snarling pack of trucks we have here on this racetrack right now. Just everybody stacked up with each other, 2 wide all the way in this group, and we'll have to see. Hopefully nobody goes 3 wide. Hopefully there aren't any crashes. But yeah, I don't know. This is hardcore racing today at Indianapolis Raceway Park.
Give a lot of credit to Aiden Smith, who we were just showing for a while. He's been involved in so many accidents today, and he's still doing a good job in the 6th position. So Aiden Smith doing a remarkable job in that 9 truck. Normally it's Noah Hart who does the shining for Ladion Autosport, but he's been involved in a wreck and hasn't been able to make his way back to the front. But Aiden Smith's doing a very nice job in 6, right behind Carson Jefferson and Riley Hooper. Before long, we could see that 9 truck in the top 5.
Yeah, and we've seen so many trucks in this race be involved in crashes. It's it's interesting to see who from what crash is running back up towards the front, because I'm seeing that the 3 truck move up through the field as well. He's up to 8th place. He was in a crash earlier today, and we got the 86 in the pit lane. Uh-oh.
That's Giovanni Pena in the 86. He had damage from the first caution that he needed to assess, so he'll rejoin several laps down. And, yep, there's Aiden Smith being worked over by Jonathan Lawson and Francois Chastain and Earl Sear, like you mentioned. So, a lot of big, strong trucks up here. And there's Brian Grigsby as well. He was in the caution, and he's running in 12th now. As we got more 3 wide, this doesn't look good.
No, this certainly, unless the 94 backs out, looks like maybe won't back out. Oh, to the inside. That's going to be a hard hit for the 30 into the inside wall, and the caution certainly will fly after that. Man, oh man, haven't seen a crash like that yet, but it was the same beginnings as all the others, coming 3 wide out of a corner. Not good for Kitchens in the 30.
Wes Kitchens making his Turbo Truck Series debut for the revived Robin Hood Racing team. He's going to bring out our 6th caution of the race, our season record for the most yellow flags in a race. It's just a tough break for Wes Kitchens. He was running at the back anyway, but he was doing a pretty good job on debut. It's just a very unfortunate situation for him, and now you're right, that was a big hit on the right side for that 30 truck. Yeah, and it looks like, I hate to interrupt, but it looks like we got Billy Kidd on pit road.
Audrey's in the pits too.
Audrey's in the pits as well. We're going to have a few guys in the pits, it looks like. So that should hand the lead over to Zachary Bilson in the 81. We haven't seen what he can do up front yet.
Yeah, that's Bilson, the 81, then the 00 is in 2nd place now, the 21, the 66, the 9, the 3, the 1. They're all moving up positions. It looks like not a lot more pitted right there.
Being in the middle of 3 wide is never what you want. He's got Zach Rogers to his outside, and Logan Jones just didn't give an inch there. And I understand why. It's getting late in the race, but if you know there's a guy right there, you gotta back out of it a little bit. I don't know if the officials are gonna take a look at Logan for that incident, but it's just a tough break for Wes Kitchens, who is, like I said, doing a respectable job on debut.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it looked like in the middle of the corner he was starting to back out just a little bit, but he really didn't have anywhere to back to with a bunch of trucks behind him, and maybe he could have moved down the track on the straightaway a little bit more than just kind of holding that line there. But, yeah, just a tough break for all parties involved, and especially for that 30 truck who ended up in the wall right there. Bringing out that caution flag, and we've still got a significant portion of this race left. We're only on lap 71 out of 90 here, and this is going to be interesting to see how it goes to the end. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the 74, thanks to the pit stop, should maybe get the lap back because the leader pitted ahead of him.
He'll restart on the tail end of the lead lap, just ahead of Zachary Bilson. So it'll be, man, we got a lot of lap traffic between Bilson and Hooper, who's up in the 2nd now. Riley Hooper, he started well back through the field in this race, and he's running 2nd right now. Very nice run for that 00 team, and they really need it. They're hovering around that top 30 bubble, and it's just, you never want to be there, and Hooper's just doing the best he can, and right now, that's a runner-up effort.
Yeah, well, I'm an excellent job from that 00 team, and all these guys that are running up front right now. Man, oh man, we've got a lot of great stories in the top 10. However, I think Miles Mashburn is in a really good situation here, because that 74, if he is able to, because he'll be starting on the front row, on the outside ahead of the leader. So if he's able to stay ahead of these guys and keep on the lead lap, one caution will put that 74 back on the lead lap but starting behind everybody instead of starting in front of everybody, and that's going to be a game changer possibly if we get more and more caution. So just a story to keep your eye on throughout this thing. But we've got the 81 starting on the outside of row 2. However, he is the leader, and then 2nd place is in the outside of row 4, and then on back it's It's a little bit of craziness. So this is quite the thing we have right here at this restart. We're coming to the green flag. I don't know what's gonna happen. Do you know? Do you know? I don't know.
We're closing in on 15 laps to go, so it's definitely go time for everybody involved. Coming to the restart, and the green flag is back out. Miles Mashburn gets a good jump on the damaged truck of Pena, but Zachary Bilson's got a really good launch, and he's going to easily get ahead because remember, Hooper and Lawson are stuck behind Knox Hangley in the 7, who's also a lap down. So that is going to be a bad news for Hooper and for Lawson, but it's going to be great news for Zachary Bilson, who all he has to do really is clear this lap traffic, and he can let Mashburn go. He doesn't have to worry about the 74. Yep. All Bilson needs to do is to clear the lappers, and he should be home free, unless we get another caution, which of course is very likely here.
Yeah, so still stuck on the outside lane right now, but in no immediate danger from behind, as those guys are all stuck on the outside and stuck behind other lap traffic as well. I would be inclined, if I was the 81 right here, to try to get clear, whether it be in front or behind of this 02. I want to get clear right now and start moving. Yeah, there you go. Just sneak in behind right there and maybe start pushing that 02 a little bit faster around this racetrack. As 00's gotten to the bottom, looks like 34, who is not anymore on the lead lap, is also on the bottom, and this is going to be interesting because we got 2 right in front. Oh man, I don't know. This is a fascinating race right now because of how jumbled everybody was. And then, of course, they're still too wide all the way around this place. So who knows when the next caution could come out.
And, of course, Zachary Bilson just wants the caution to come late enough in this race to where it would end it already. So Bilson can celebrate his first career win because he's only about 13 laps away from making that happen in the 81, as it looks like he tried to get around Kev Shearer there, but thought better of it. Now Hooper is clearing the lappers for the most part, and he can just tuck in behind Tyler Mills and start chasing down Zachary Bilson.
Yeah, so this is fascinating. There's 2 lap trucks between them, so that's going to be 2 passes that the 00 has to make on track before he gets to the leader. So this is going to be interesting, and of course, this 81 is just kind of holding steady, holding strong, staying right there, kind of, evenly between the 02 and the 6 on this racetrack. And we're on lap 80 now, so if there is another caution and a restart, we will see everybody lined up single file, so those lappers are going to stay between them. If we get another restart, that's just how it is at this point in the race, and we're closing in on a point of no return. As far as if caution comes out, it'll be over. So this 81 has ended up in a fantastic position today, and is just leading the race, and just has to hold strong, and stay there, and don't have any mistakes right now, and you're gonna get yourself your first win.
10 laps to go, coming to 9 laps to go for Zachary Bilson. This has been a long time coming. He's had such good consistency this season, just not yet able to win, but he's getting really close to getting one here. It's been a while for Zachary Bilson since he won in anything, much less a one-up racing machine. So Bilson's doing a very good job right now, and like I said, he's closing in on getting ready to win this race. He's about 8 laps away from doing that.
Yeah, and he started 16th today, so a really great run from this 81 team. Of course, just trying to stay out of trouble was a big part of it today, and then of course maintaining some speed in that truck even after a little bit of trouble. Keeping the speed in there, keeping the tires under you, and then of course just being on the right side of the strategy was a big part of it as well. So ending up in the perfect position at the end of this race, and I don't know if I'd be going for these passes. 81 is really starting to push a little bit, but he's gaining time on the 00, so I don't know.
Zachary Bilson is just 7 laps away from that win. He knows he wants it. He knows he doesn't need to race his teammate, especially Kev Shearer doesn't really need to race him for anything. Giovanni Pena, likewise, he's several laps down, but Shearer's going to try and get around the 86 just for a little more breathing space. Yeah. And that's going to allow Bilson to maybe get around the 86 as well. Maybe not quite yet. But he is caught up in this lap traffic, and at this point in time, he's got about a 3-second lead, and we're coming to 5 laps to go. We've pretty much hit that point of no return for a caution flag, so next flag will end the race.
Yeah, unless the caution flag is the 81, these lappers are really pouring on the pressure. However, the 81 is still gaining time on the 00 despite all this battling, because there's a lot of stuff going on back there. As you can see, there's passing involved right now, the 34 on the outside, and then the 21 battling for a position. That's for second place between the 21 and the 00. So that battle for position is losing them a lot of time to the leader. In fact, it's up to almost 4 seconds now. I think the 81 needs to cool it. He needs to get back off of those lappers to avoid any mistakes here, because these guys are battling for second place without any regard for the lead at this moment.
For Lawson, this would be a career best finish. For Riley Hooper, this would be a career best finish. So they gotta just hang in there, because they're not going to get the win at this point in time racing each other. But what they could do is allow Aiden Smith to join the battle. Aiden Smith, what a drive from him. He's been involved in how many accidents in this race? He's racing in 4th with it coming to 2 laps to go.
Yeah, these two are still side by side, so Aiden Smith definitely is going to be able to gain a lot of time on him. We'll see if 21 can't sneak back up to the outside lane. He's going to go to the bottom to pass the 00 down there. Man, oh man, what a battle we've got for second place, and they're 4.5 seconds behind the leader at this point, Zach Bilson, who's looking really good for the rest of this race, and they're going to be 3 wide before we know it for second place, of course, and the white flag is out for Zach Bilson.
As much as I'd love to watch that battle all the way to the end, we've got a winner to crown as the white flag flies at IRP. Zachary Bilson, looking for his first career win in the Turbo Truck Series. It's been eluding him for so long. He's been the model of consistency this year. And coming through 3 and 4 for the final time, it is going to be Zachary Bilson finally getting that first career win, and he does it at Indianapolis Raceway Park. Bilson wins the OneMain Financial 250. Riley Hooper just manages to beat Jonathan Lawson for second. Aiden Smith likewise just managed to beat Carson Jefferson for 4th. What a run those guys have had. And then we got this group finishing 6th, 7th, and 8th. Earl Sear just beating Francois Chastain and Maston Rimmel for his second top 10 of the season. Ben McDonald 9th, and Austin Shane Fisher for Crossroads Racing in their home race gets a top 10. Nice job, Austin Shane Fisher, getting a top 10 on home ground for Crossroads Racing. But in all honesty, this race was unpredictable from start to finish. The dominant driver of the day probably didn't win this race, because that was probably going to be Miles Mashburn. But a great race overall, bit of a wreck fest, but you're going to have those every so often. And what a day we've seen here at IRP.
Yeah, you know, it's the type of day where you know, everybody has to get a little bit lucky in racing to be able to get a win. That's part of it. That's why it's so difficult for a lot of these drivers to get their first ever wins. You know, if you don't have the luck following you, then you're not going to be able to win. And today you had to have quite a bit of luck to be able to be on the right side of strategy, stay out of trouble, and that's just how it was. So a great day for the 81 team. That whole team did a fantastic job. And yeah, an excellent race to watch, a confusing one at times, and a surprising one as well, but excellent. And it makes me excited to watch more of these things. Man, oh man, a great job from everybody involved.
And with that, Zachary Bilson actually takes over the points lead from Ryan Griffin, who struggled mightily in this race. So Bilson is now your points leader after his win today at IRP, so congratulations to him for that. We'll see you again in a few weeks at Watkins Glen for race number 11 of the Turbo Truck Series season. That's right, we just hit the halfway point in the One Up Turbo Truck Series. What her first half of the season we've had so far, and we're looking forward to the second half just as much. So from Duke and Zach, and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Indianapolis Raceway Park, and we offer our congratulations to Zachary Bilson, who finally scored big for his first career win in Indianapolis Raceway Park. That 81 group has got to be feeling pretty good about that.